Hello and welcome, a warm welcome to you to our Rap Live Showcase. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Becky Cullen and I'm your host for this evening, live from Metronome in the heart of Nottingham. You're welcome wherever you are in the stratosphere. So come in, sit down at our figurative table, and there is not even any need for track and trace. Tonight, you're in an app-free, nap-free zone. You can laugh. I've got some people here who can laugh. Yeah, good, good. Thank you. I'm joined here by students and tutors from the NTU Writing, Reading and Pleasure programme and some very special guests as we celebrate the many ways words have reached us, touched us and changed us this year. So let's get started. This event is hosted by the Nottingham Trent University Curated and Created programme, where rap sits within NTU culture offered to the city and beyond, with activities and events designed to enrich the lives of students, staff and our communities more broadly. Whether that's an NTU music scholarship or ensemble, our groundbreaking Bonington Gallery exhibitions, our University Hall concert series or our programme of music at Metronome and of course Nottingham Poetry Festival. Nottingham Trent also celebrates extracurricular creativity, and since October our rap programme has engaged over 800 students in reading and writing events, book giveaways, workshops and book clubs with the support of a fantastic team of student ambassadors, some of which you will have the pleasure of getting to know this evening. Our RAP programme has continued this term to support student wellbeing during the exam season, as well as our regular programme of book clubs and writing workshops. Since our last Rap Live event in March, we've enjoyed a workshop with the hip-hop legend that is Kenny Baraka, announced the winners of our rap short story competition and welcomed the inspirational Compass Collective for a special workshop exploring what it means to be global. Our staff book club network is up and running, and we've completed a 10-week national writing and talking Saturday club with a group of 14 to 16-year-olds, so we've been very busy. Okay, if you're a student or a member of staff and want to know more, take a look at the Virtual Arts Centre on Teams, where you can find all our rap events, as well as finding out what's happening with music, Bonington Gallery and Metronome. Our rap featured writers this term are 4 Brown Girls Who Write, a collective of women poets whose name is always written in capitals to take up as much space as possible. These 4 formidable women caught our eye when we read about the way they stand with each other when they perform, with their arms around each other in support. We've learned from the way they hold each other up as they develop as writers, and we've been well and truly wrapped with the same energy in the fabulous workshops they've facilitated for us. So tonight's event brings all these different things together. We have performances in part 1 from student and staff writers, our friends from Compass Collective, and in part 2 there's a special headline performance from 4 Brown Girls Who Write. Our first performer tonight is a talented young writer who's been a strong voice within our Saturday Writing and Talking Club. Abra Bash has joined us as over the 10 weeks we've discussed such disparate subjects as mushrooms, lizards, our favourite things, as well as climate change and protest. And Abra's film is inspired by the Black Lives Matter protests.
Hunter, in response of the Black Lives Matter movement. Fate is a hunter. I shall never leave my trust in the hands of fate once more. The world has let me down and the world has let you down. Look at me, look at you, standing in the middle of nowhere, protesting for something that shouldn't even be a debate. Why are we still dragged to fight about this? Why have people got the audacity, the nerve to make us feel like this? They say our fellow ancestors had handled this for the sake of our lives. But we were wrong. Dear racist, tell me why I should be afraid to step foot out of my own house. I can't walk into a normal grocery store without the response of some of your staff following me after every step I take. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm on the street, far away from a place I call home, holding a sign quoting "No justice, no peace," while the people in the background are chanting "We want freedom," while the cold rain is running across our gloomy faces. Like I said, fate is a hunter. Listen to me and I'll tell you why.
For those inspiring words. And it's been a real privilege to work with this group of young people and to hear them strengthen their voices and their creativity over the last 10 weeks. And I'd like to give a shout out to Matthew and Rael, our wonderful student ambassadors. So thank you, Matthew and Rael, you've been fantastic. Our first performer live in Metronome this evening, where there are real human beings, is the wonderful Kai Northcott, who is a first-year creative writing student. Kai is sharing a spoken word piece called Soundscape. Over to you, Kai.
Thank you, Becky, for that introduction. I hope you enjoy this piece. We were just dried out tea leaves, stained in and murking the boiling water. Wispy colours fighting against the mixture, stirred up and blended, and once drained of character, left as remnants on the ceramic, the patterns were taken as our fortunes. Doled out promises and lectures, perching on high branches, we craned our necks to listen to the owls of the world, spreading their wise words, their druidic eyebrows slanting snarky down, calling you cuckoo and them a twit too. We deemed only ever as failures yet to be, made to stare at the horizon, think only of the mountains and the snowy pillows on top. Some were even told they had wings, beautiful sets to be jealous of. Yet every time they went to fly, they ended lower than they started. How to use them was never on the syllabus. Yet nothing can stop desire. It wasn't long ago our fingers made matches, casting shadows on the cave wall, oil-stained ghosts stretched long and wide. We never really left the sandstone crack. The infernos defined our outlines, and we mistook our silhouettes as the souls inside us. Hollow shapes that melted the wax world, heat enough to bend steel that would take us to the clouds in the hopes that touching the sun we might become one, always striving, dissatisfied, unable to accept our edges. We abandoned the wild for cities, left to dwell in the derelict homes of stone and concrete, with broken bookcases, torn and worn sofas, screens of static headache makers, brick sick-stained urine yellow floors. The smell of fear was pungent enough to kill. Friends left half empty on the street as bottle-cracked needle pioneers. They could tell you of every poison's merits, give you a rundown of why it's a requirement for the survival of the spirit and all the ways it ends it. Everyone is an addict to something, pushing into their arms one last hit. I'm no different, searching the same street corners for my dealer of choice. Who is my master, I asked, never to find an answer. It certainly wasn't me. I was given a name and a door number, told not to leave the street or I'd lose my life or maybe my wallet if I was lucky. I was worth less than a cigarette. I didn't contain any nicotine. No one would go broke for me. How are you meant to find a soul in a place like this, searching high and low for some semblance of selfhood? We all take the pilgrimage, looking to uncharted waters to save us from our uncertainty. I swear there must be a simple answer. I've shipwrecked, trying to find it, broken open my hull, splintered into the ocean, no one person to find all my pieces, yet each plank I lose has the chance to seal someone else's wounds. The crystals of pink cheeks might be wiped away softly, if only we dared to weep openly. To know that our eyes are not islands, their waterways bind us together, streams wide enough for us to row side by side. The soul is not a place to find, not another thing for us to own. It is a way of travel, of giving your last breath to someone else. And we all come to that final moment on our deathbeds when the words we want to utter are the names of the ones we love. A gasp to connect us, even crossing the ether, because despite what they say about you and others, we are not a selfish species. And in our final whispers, heard or unheard, we will return to the earth to live again. Heard or unheard, the soul will continue, heard or unheard.
Thank you, Kai. So next up, we've got the first of two films from our friends at Compass Collective. So you may have caught their film from the Calling Across Borders project during our last Rap Live showcase. This film that we're going to show is by Mika. So Compass, just a reminder, are an organisation that provide a platform for young refugees. And we had a workshop with them this term, which was very thought-provoking and challenging and really got us to think about the borders between people and what it really does mean, what being global means. It was a very inspirational night. You were there, weren't you, John? It was very moving, wasn't it? Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so it was a highlight of our term, I think, mine and John's term. And so we're delighted that we can share two films from Compass Collective with you this evening. And the first is from Mika, and it's called What It Is to Be a Woman. I'll get the title right. Sorry, Mika. What It Is to Be a Woman. Over to you.
In life, there is moments when you stop and ask yourself, how did I get here? And I find myself going to the beginning, going back to the age when I became aware of myself. When I became aware that women and men were treated differently. I have been lucky. My parents always protect me and respect my opinion. But at the same time, I noticed the simplest difference between a boy and a girl. I noticed that we are not equal. At such an early age, I understand the importance of being a voice or role model for young refugee girls and women who may not have opportunities to tell their stories. Let me tell you a story. This happened in the UK. It's about a young refugee girl. She was 17 and living with her family. One day her dad decided to marry her to someone back in her own country. She didn't want to get married, especially with the person she doesn't know. But her father was forcing her. Because she lived in the UK, she had the rights. She was brave and asked for help through some organizations. She left her family and found her independence. When I heard this story, I was so impressed and happy for her. At the same time, sad for other refugee girls because not every girl is brave enough to ask for their rights. Maybe there are many more stories like her. Many of us have goals, and we are trying to achieve, but it's not always easy for a girl. My goal is to become a lawyer, so then I can help girls like her. In last point, I would say women need a seat at the table. And in some cases where this isn't available, they need to build their own chair.
Thank you so much, Mika and Compass Collective, for allowing us to share that film with our viewers this evening and onwards on YouTube. So we're going to move on now to a fantastic young writer called Alessandra Leone. Alessandra is one of our rap ambassadors. She has been a stalwart of our programme. She's incredibly generous with her time and her energy, both practical and creative. And it's a pleasure to be able to introduce you to three of her poems here. So over to you, Alessandra.
Hi everyone, my name is Alessandra and I'll be presenting three poems that were featured in the rap anthology The Story of Us. They were written during some rap sessions and I hope you enjoy them. Fleeting time. I hear you say good morning and I say it back. I hear you breathing get heavy as you fall back asleep. Time is fleeting, make the time stop. I know in a few hours you have to leave, but I wish you could stay one more hour with me. We take a shower, have breakfast, and maybe watch the telly too. I wish I could share one more hug with you. You start getting ready and I start feeling sad. You don't know it because I'm smiling. and I hold you very hard. I leave you at my door, slowly close it. I don't watch you drive away. The second poem is Wishes. I wonder, what will my future be like? Will I finally get my university degree? Will I be able to work in a job in which I help others? Then there is you. What will our future be like? I sometimes wonder. Will I be kissing your lips, holding you tight? Will you still be my guiding light? Will you even want me? Then there are my dreams, living together, being your wife, starting a family. I know some of those things you do not want, but a girl can only dream. Kismet. Kismet. That's what it is. Had I diverged into a different path? Had I made a different choice? That night, would I have met you? Would I have noticed you if you walked by? Is not knowing better sometimes? Or have I filled the void I so needed to fill with your laughter and smiles? I still wonder sometimes. And I made a different choice. Would you still find me somehow? Do we name choices? Or does fate take our hand?
Thank you, Alessandra. And it's been a real pleasure seeing Alessandra develop her creative voice over this year. And I'm looking forward, because she's a first-year student, to having her around again next year and the year afterwards. So, yes, we're in it for the long haul, Alessandra. I'm going to introduce you now to Hannah Siam Gascoigne. She is an MRes student at NTU, and she's looking at the relationships between Angela Carter and fourth wave feminism. She is a talented, creative, as well as critical writer, and she's sharing poems with us this evening. So over to you, Hannah. Thank you.
Thank you. The first poem is called Ill-Fated Spark. Closer than a friend, but that is nothing new. Wool over the eyes, there's glistening untrue. Empty words echo, true meanings in the dark. The twist of fate illuminates the ill-fated spark. Why ask for love when you can fall to your knees and beg? Every time naive, the same blunt, bloodied knife through the leg. And this one is just a poem in the work, so it's just an extract, and it is untitled. Deceit, the misinterpretation of truth. The actions lead to headspins reminiscent of youth. Vomit, the only thing that wanted to spew out. The tears ignored, sat silent, not even being able to shout. Nails bitten, bloody fingers showed the anguish of the heart. Now and forever will this be remembered as the start. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Hannah. I'm going to introduce you now to Menashe Ziva, who is Alessandra's partner in crime, if I can put it like that actually, on the NTU Advent calendar. If you look on day 5 of the NTU calendar, you can find one of their poems that they recorded together. Menashe is a business student and she's got an exam tomorrow, so good luck with that, Menashe. She's going to share 2 poems with us this evening. Like Alessandra, she also has poems in our anthology, The Story of Us, which you can access through the RAP website, and all the details are going to be on screen at the end of the showcase. So without further ado, which is the phrase we always say when we're presenting and no other time ever in the history of anything else. So without further ado, we've got 2 poems from Menashe, I Am Sorry and Weakness.
I'm sorry. This one's for you for being too hard on yourself. For all the times you wanted to and I just didn't. For all the times you didn't and I wanted to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I never saw you. I just never did. I never noticed you. I'm sorry I didn't give in to conversation. I'm sorry I just listened to correct. I'm sorry we crossed paths but I'm grateful that we did. I'm sorry I forgot how you were made, fearfully and wonderfully. Maybe I should reread the psalm over and over. I'm sorry for holding you hostage when all you wanted was to be free, to be vulnerable. So I'm sorry I made you cement when you should have been clay. Is it too late to mold you again? Should we start from the top or the bottom? Do you want a pretty dress, a compliment? Should I give you wings? This time I will mold you into everything but bad. When I look in the mirror, I will see you. This time I will see you. When I see you smile, promise I won't hold you back. Promise I will embrace and adore every corner of you. Don't be worried this time. I'm sorry if I failed you before. I'm sorry if I wasn't patient. But I'm still thankful that you were with me instead. I mean it. I mean it this time. Let's do stuff together. Maybe look at the sky. Let's look at the stars, at how they shine for us. Adventure awaits us, but before we set, all I'm saying is, please. I'm saying thank you. And most important, I'm saying sorry. I mean it. I mean it this time. Weakness. Weakness is like a parasite, draining your blood. You can't feel it, but it just destroys you somehow. You try to keep your composure, but guess what? You are still stagnant water, a playground for the blood suckers. You try to apply repellent, but all the bottles have reached their expiry date. And whenever you light up a fire, the flames burn you instead.
Thank you, Menashe. And I should thank Menashe as well and Shannon Fletcher for organising our faith takeover this term, where we had a collaboration with the NTU faith team and their students and explored the whole idea and range of faith writing. So fantastic. Thank you, Menashe. It's that time of the evening where I'm going to introduce you to one of our rap writers. So we have a group, a perfectly formed collective of staff writers, and they are PhD writers who are studying creative and critical writing at NTU in different combinations. And so I'd like to say a big thank you to them while I can. So I should say thank you, Birgit Friedrich, Paul Adey, and I hope you feel better soon because he's supposed to be here, but he's ill at home. So hope you feel better soon, Paul. Dr. Ali Stoneman, Dr. Lauren Terry, Hannah Cooper-Smithson, and Tuesday Shannon. Thank you to all of you for your hours of book clubs, workshops, and everything else you've done. So the name that's missing from that group, who's standing in the wings here, is the fantastic Victoria Callus, who is also my compatriot on the Saturday morning writing and talking team, where we've spent a lot of time with Jake the Lizard, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Yes, we know him intimately.
Yes,
yes.
He's a part of the group.
He is a part of the group. But today, Victoria isn't talking about Jake the Lizard. She's going to read an extract from her PhD thesis entitled Seeking Earth. Thank you, Victoria.
Thanks, Becky. There used to be the clanking of cutlery, the percussion of pots and pans, the sizzling of food, the shouting heralding life across the hall, barking dog feral with excitement, the rattle of high notes from the radio, the singing of water glasses, a lunchtime joke, after the look me in the eyes or at 7 years chin-chin of a supper-time drink. Above all, there was laughter loud enough to rattle windows. Now, 4 walls drain into hall with open door. Between walls, me with heart throbbing, clock with hands ticking, then blinking whiz of chest freezer rumbling into cooling mode. Coffee machine cracks espresso into my cranium, buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. The kitchen reverberates and whizzes, tiresome heave of appliances that wish they had expired with their masters. Every 5 minutes, air freshener spritzes and wheezes, trying to milk scent out of an empty can. From a bedroom box, Nanu's Casio awakens, BB beeping the midday news, but the TV doesn't switch on. Wiring circulates electricity around the walls, an incessant fizz of connections. Through walls, spectral steps of neighbors, climbing stairs, closing doors, shifting weight onto chairs that squeak and creak, slapping slippers, sandals, shoes along marble. One would think they were trapped forever, clambering aimlessly. Drip of their tap, then a tinkering and flush of the toilet. Plumbing grumbles and groans, then releases with a splash onto the pavement. Fresh Sunday morning. Bougainvillea strolls solitary across the street like tumbleweed susurrating through breeze. Balcony door swings and stops, swings and stops. A family of flies takes heed from the distant rising clouds and drone towards rustling bin bags above them. Streaming through towering telephone lines, the quack of quick voices, cooling of filament wire in a lamppost, bulbs vibrating towards the sky. Ducks clapping wings in unison as they fly in V formation. Thundering of a plane out of sight, frost cracking across its windows. Condensation curling and curdling into clouds. The taut drum of a weather balloon reaching up towards heat, its radio transmitter crackling, camera clicking, meteorite flashes past into the mesosphere, hissing and sizzling as it burns out. Aurora flickers into sight. Debris bounces silently off satellites. And then, gently, the beeps and voices, tapping of buttons inside the ISS, and an astronaut reaches for his guitar, still perfectly in tune, though hard to hold. Beyond the window, a stillness carrying into the vast cosmic void, broken only by breath. A loud gurgling snore, and I awake in the kitchen, blink twice, feel the hair on my arms rise. Thank you.
That's fabulous. And I want to sing now, Space Oddity.
Please do.
From the International
Let's do
Space.
it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Victoria. So, inspired by Ashley Hickson-Lovence's novel, The 392, our featured novel last term, this year we asked students and staff to take us on a 250-word bus journey. Dr Rebecca Butler and Dr Andrew Taylor from the NTU Centre for Travel Writing Studies worked with our RAP student ambassador Nadia Salim to come up with a shortlist of 4 student and staff winners. And the next film we're going to see is a film by Justina Truglewska. I'm particularly proud because Justina is one of our RAP ambassadors, and she also appeared in our first RAP showcase before Christmas. So she's been on a real writing journey this year. She's been on a real writing journey, and this story about a bus is the culmination of that journey. So that's appropriate. And her story is called Easy Rider, not the Dennis Hopper film, actually inspired by Nottingham City Transport. So over to you, Justina, for Easy Rider.
Hello, my name is Justyna Cugrewska and I'm going to read a short story featured in the rap anthology Easy Rider. It's difficult to keep cool at my local bus stop. The same people wait for the 77 with the same bad attitudes. Hands in their pockets, smoking hot breath against the frosty dark morning, counting down until a warm bus rescues them from unnecessary chit-chat. It's always like that at 5 a.m. on weekdays. Hiss, The turquoise 77 arrives, shoulder to shoulder, packed with other bodies. The driver has lost count of passenger capacity. We all have to eat and pay the bills. I get on, squeezing through, feeling the motion, thud. We stumble forward, the taste of links at the back of my throat makes my stomach churn. I hear women prattle until the time is served and fresh air awaits beyond swinging metal doors. Others kissing their lips, looking at me with dark, sleepy eyes, ready to kick off at any sign of confrontation. They wouldn't mean it. They're half awake, coffee the only drug to disguise sleep. On this bus, they think they are dominating the social hierarchy, able bodies sitting in the priority seats, their looks intimidatingly sharp. I am not intimidated, not one bit. Can you move over, mate? I speak louder than Mercury sings in my ears. This bus might give them comfort, but out on these streets, I am on top. I was here first, Doc. His ethanol-stained words spill from the night before. It's tough to keep cool on board this mechanical snake. I will let it slide for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Justina. It's amazing what you can do in 250 words. Incredible. So to finish off the first part of our rap showcase this evening, we have the second of our two films from Compass Collective. And in this film, Murphat tells us about why she is inspired to be a pilot.
Imagine soaring above the clouds. Imagine breaking through the sky every day to reach the sun. Imagine me in the cockpit of a plane. Yes, me, a woman, a black woman. I want to become a pilot because everyone thinks it's a man's job. I want to prove people wrong. I want to show them that women can be pilots too. The sky is the limit for women like me too. I have always daydreamed about flying, but my first memory was very different to what I imagined. I was 16. It wasn't something I expected to do. I was scared and nervous. I didn't know where I was going. I was doing research with my foster mom, looking for things I was interested in. I had been daydreaming about becoming a pilot, and I fell in love with it. I had to find the right path. Engineering is the starting point. There are not many women in engineering. In my class, I am the only one. It is like building a house. You have to start from the bottom to build your way up to the top. There are not a lot of women pilots. Out of 100%, only 5% of pilots are women. I feel like women are not given the confidence to become pilots. I am hoping one day my dream can come true. Even if I can only do it for 1 year, or 1 month, or even for 1 day, then my dream will have to come true. That's how passionate I am about it. I like to become a role model to show other women that they can do it too. I want to travel across borders. I want to see more countries and cultures, learn more things. Back home, women don't have freedom to study or work. Men are priority. I always say, there's nothing impossible under the sun. If you want it, of course. There will be challenges. That is part of life. Even when you are a child, you cannot just stand up and walk. We learn, we crawl, we walk. But there is nothing impossible under the sun.
I have a lot of dreams, to be honest.
I have some dreams.
Imagine for me, it's something impossible, at the same time possible.
We are all human, we are all the same.
We just here, we just came in to survive.
It sounds like you have a lot to change. But I'm always here.
Fantastic. Nothing impossible under the sun. Fantastic reminder. So it's time for a break. It's time to refresh yourselves, have a good stretch, do some dancing in the aisles wherever you are, and because that's what we're going to do here. And we'll see you in about 10 minutes. So be back at 8:15, ready for the second half of our fantastic rap showcase. Thanks, everybody. See you soon. and welcome back to our Rap Live Student Showcase. Thanks so much for coming back and joining us for part 2. My name's Becky Cullen and I'm here to guide you through the second half of our fantastic showcase this evening. So our first performer in part 2 is John Lewell. He has contributed to a wide range of workshops in a wide range of ways. I think that's fair to say.
I'd agree with you on that.
You'd agree with me on that one, that's good. And this evening, so he's an integral part of the rap community, is what I've written down here. And you've said to me, didn't you, we've got it all going on.
All, everything.
All and everything, yes, that's great. So John's here this evening and he's going to read a piece for us called Can Words, Can Air, Can We? Thanks, John.
Can air, can words, can we? Words, poems, literature, insight and delight. Put smiles on the child's face, light fires when riots rage. Conflicts ignite from words on the page, reach solution when poets engage. Can words, can air, can we move to a better place? Not sure, I'm undecided, open-minded. Can we erase the line that runs down the centre of every playground, crosses cities, divides countries and severs continents? County lines corrupting juvenile minds, minds that like lines cross social divides. Marginal gains cooked up in crack pipes and misinformation in powdered white lines. Black panda eyes set against forgotten white child, the last panda in the world. Can air, can words, can we make a difference? I don't think so. Dark clouds hang black shrouds as I look out my window. I can't pull the carbon from the sky. I can't claw the plastic from the sea. I can't pay my bills. Air, words, we. What does that mean? Just words and air. Just air. Vibrations of matter. Pocket change clatter. Compressed air forced out of crevices, of shadow-touched surfaces. Clock hands sweeping across faces, tight, supple skin to creased, cracked crevices. Just air, just words, inspired or deflated, energised or agitated, council estate or community gated, minimum wage or private educated, avocado or pot noodle. Do you look at your feet because the sky is so big it hurts your heart? Or do you walk below it like your heart is so big it owns the sky? Can you overcome your position and relocate in a universe that crushes galaxies to the size of atoms, hiding secrets in and on the end of your nose? Are we in a state of dark matter, unaware of the pain of the sow? Sharp teeth have waited for millennia now. I'm optimistic about air and words and we, but beyond a reasonable doubt, on the balance of probability, we look down the barrel of a gun, a black hole at the centre of our galaxy. Beyond the trigger and the event horizon, hope is being crushed. Light is trapped by forces that still gravity, and air and words and we. You think too much outside the box, you do, and then all hope is extinguished by words, by air, by we. You keep thinking outside the realms of possibility, and all hope is reignited by air, by words, by we. What are words anyhow? A vibration, translation, brain's manifestation. In a vacuum, they would lack the state to propagate, and in oceans, they would distort beneath the waves. Words exist in a sliver of air between a rock and a hard place. Words are screams from a mind confined to a shell, and words are songs from a mind desperate to connect to other minds beyond its own shell. Words are our comfort and words are our fear. Words are our shame and words are our identity. Words are the poison and words are the remedy. Word, air, we, our poetic melody. What are words without air and we without air and we without words? Can air, can words, can we? Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. So it's time for our special performance by our headliners, 4 Brown Girls Who Write. So we thank Roshni Goyate, Sharon Hunjan, Sheena Patel and Suna Khan for all their contributions to our RAP programme this term. We were particularly pleased because when we came to our book giveaway of their title, we discovered that their pamphlets are presented in a special presentation RAP. So we had a RAP in RAP, which is just marvellous, very poetic. So we're going to have, it's about a 20-minute performance of them sharing their poetry in prose. There is some language, some adult language, just to alert you to that. But enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks.
Hi everyone, we're Four Brown Girls Who Write. I'm Sana, Roshni, Sharon and Sheena. We've got a collection of pamphlets out at the moment with Rough Trade Books, which we're going to read from for you today. And we just also want to say thank you so much for having us. We've really enjoyed doing workshops with you. First up, we've got Roshni.
Hi, I'm going to be reading some poems from my pamphlet, which is called Shadow Work. The first poem is called Driving Around Monks Park. I'm trying to understand where this love comes from. This hardy love, hard time giving love, this give and get nothing back love. She'll tell you she don't tolerate side bitch, but has stayed and tolerated time and time again. She loves him, she tells me. She has so much love for him. She loves him. She used to drive me around Monks Park, playing with the radio dial, picking up Pirate Garage for us to throw gun fingers at. Now we compare mileage on our new cars, and she tells me she drives miles to see him. She bought a car to drive miles to see him behind bars. She drives miles for him and drives her mad. He is the center of his own universe. Still, she drives miles for him. She would die for him. When he says jump, she calls me and says, what the fuck? I'm already fucking jumping. Can't he see I'm jumping? And she keeps on doing it until her bruised face is a blur. And she's given 10 years of her life for him. And I've stood by watching through helpless fingers.
Okay. I'm Sharon and I'm going to read from my pamphlet Hatch. This one's called Fatherless. You are fatherless, but not less. You are less of father, fathered less than me, but you are not less. Less are fathers who left with questions. Was I not enough? How can I impress? I am less impressed with him. He left a mark, a space in you. He left an impression on me. Less of a father, he's less than you. You are more. You who are more or less left fatherless, you are more than enough. You are the impression, you are the space, you are not less, though he left you fatherless. You will be more of a father than him. You are a father, you are a father, you are more of a father than he will ever be. He is less, you are a father.
Thank you, Sharon.
So nice.
Thank you, Sharon.
I've already introduced myself. This is my pamphlet. I don't know how to forgive you when you make no apology for this haunting. I'm going to read Buzz. I pressed the buzzer twice. The first time without fear. The second time, I really need to believe you. And I'm not turning around because then they are right and that can't be right. Why won't you answer? And I can feel Nana's palms resting on the horn and the engine choking in weight. And I don't know why, but I refuse to turn back because this is not where you live. And the pub across the road is not where you drink. You don't even drink. And I'm standing in these shoes I want to show you. They've got wheels on the heels and lights in the laces, and the cigarette stub by the door is a sign you left last night that you are here and this will be our secret. Do you remember when you brought that parrot back? You held his cage above your head like you thought you'd found the answer. You summoned us to the living room and we all stood in a line and stared at that bird and demanded a sign or a squawk or some small miracle that would tell us that you were okay and everything was going to be fine. But there wasn't, and you didn't. And Mama got angry and told you to get out. And I thought she said, let it out. And I got excited and opened the cage, and that bird, it didn't even try. It just stared at the carpet. And that was the last time I saw you in our house with your arms held out. And you took the bird and your bags and you left. Was that parrot a mirror none of us knew how to hold? Did you look at him and think, he gets it? He knows what it is to feel far away without knowing what his wings do. Did you want one thing that was yours, that wouldn't leave because it didn't know how? I'm willing the world behind me away now, because it's the third time I've buzzed, and I'm on my toes and I'm stretching my ears and wishing you here, and this time you say hello. And your voice cracks through the intercom. And I want it to crack through the sandstone and right up the street. I want it to crack all the way to Mama's ears, standing in the back shop with her medicines and her fears. And I'm angry now and I want to shake Nana and tell her she got it all wrong. I tell you, it's me. Let me in, it's me. And you say nothing. Are you holding your breath? Did you know what would happen next once you said it? And the street is growing louder somehow, but I can't hear anything or I don't want to hear anything. And you tell me to go home and I don't understand. I can't hear you, let me in. You say you can't and I don't want to cry, but now I want to run because your home is not my home and there you went and said it. You feel as far away as the 4th floor now, and I feel smaller somehow. And I will Nana to press the horn long and hard, press the horn so we can start again with new sounds. Let's start again, but she doesn't, and you don't. You say, go home now, John. It's time. Just go home. And I can hear Nana's voice saying, this is why you don't trust men. And I still can't turn around, but I won't buzz again.
That's so beautiful.
My name is Sheena. I'm reading from my pamphlet, This Is What Love Is. Anne only speaks when she has something to say. And for someone who fills the space with nervous energy, it sends me back to a young place. I tiptoe around her the way I tiptoed around my mother as a child, navigating choppy seas. I am monastic about the silence which suddenly surrounds me. I move from fear to curiosity. I immerse myself in it, stretching it, seeing what happens when I pull it over my body. I breathe through my trembling belly. I want to know why all this has happened to me. There is something in the constant noise I make in life, my fear of silence, my mother's rage, my toxic insistence to abandon myself. Anne drives on the Alaska Highway towards the Ibex Valley, her favourite mountains. They crowd around us like busy mothers, and their godliness opens my heart. My face tips towards their light. They are snow-covered, woodcut, monochrome on the way out, but it is on the way back when the temperature suddenly warms to -1, where their beauty is really revealed. What we see, what was initially black, is green or navy. When we look intently, an indigo mist, almost like a wash of water, sits on top of their angular bodies. I see that though the colour shifts like silk, the mountains move for no one. Like carved pillars in a temple, they demand you pay your respects, and only then do they reveal their iridescent truth. If I am quiet enough, and if I can stay still, I can hear their lessons.
I needed to hear that. Thank you, Shinzi.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to read another poem. This one is called Something in the Spaces. 1. The first time was in a church of firsts, it seems, since it was the first place behind which I, careful and ambivalent, maybe might have perhaps touched a boy's bits for the first time. 2 years after that first, my ear attention was rudely hijacked by a loudness so dirty and so right I could barely keep still in my pew. I, uncareful and unambivalent this time, knew I wanted in, and a few days later held my first tambourine. 6-inch wide, metal-rimmed, lugs jutting into my palm, and stick rubber-ended with 7 bulbous plastic heads. I gave the others a chance, but this would become the one. Before Carnaval, enredos, bossas, and subidas came the mystery, the mastery of this, the mystery. It took years. I had guidance. There were casualties along the way. 2. Hepiki, Kasha, Chocalho, Sudus 1, 2, and 3. My tambourine with many others, and the cuica's squeak. The turning, I perfected it with a swing and everything. I wear the phoenix on my chest. I sing of paradise from within. I skirt around the politics and stay part of the family. I jump through my open pores, seduced by pink and green. They say it's the hard second beat of the kasha in the space the surdus leave. I itch to walk the sambadrome, merge my sweat with nylon seams, to stretch from here to a place where they cheer the sun as it sets on the beach. 7 years in the making, my tongue's turning Portuguese. It's an obsession. Is it an obsession? It just makes me so goddamn happy. 3. Until then, I knew Jamie, my tenor saxophone. I knew how to dance to the national curriculum and put it on everything I went past. I knew Ganesh and Lakshmi and Swaminarayan and Sai Baba and Hindu mythology by incense, fire, and song. I knew Madhuri and Shah Rukh Khan and even Divya Bharti, who soared towards her fate on a Bombay pavement below a tall Bombay building. I knew big sisterdom. I knew a warped daughterliness. I breathed rebel fire and pain. I fought battles my younger sister would never have to worry about. Pushed curfews and snogged boys and got locked out by furious dad. I thought I was old enough to know everything. I knew not that much. 4. Maybe a small part of me could predict that in the depths of winter, my eyes would end up backlit with the saudade for summer rhythms. Perhaps I had already guessed that every flat surface would become a pandeiro, and every pencil in my hand a tambourine arrangement. Subida, rise up and up and up. Back then it hurt my wrists. They made it look so easy on YouTube videos, on the makeshift stage outside Sadler's Wells. Back when my hair had just been chopped off and samba nope was alien to my Indian hips. I was New York bound in weeks for months, and 5 years later, I'd be there again in a Brazilian cafe, eating a coxinha, listening to Rio twang, writing about samba.
Oh, that was so nice to hear you say that.
Yeah, never heard you say
Never
that.
heard you say, and take up the space to read a poem that was that long. It's really lovely.
That's inspired me, Roshi.
Yeah.
Oh. This one's numbered as well, so there. Ode to my literary sisterhood. One of my year 8 students counted up how many women we had read and studied over the past 2 years, and the total was 6. 1. Chimamanda, your hibiscus grows hot in my mind, stretches legs overseas from America to Nigeria, weaves through tunnels of dark plaited hair, of hair ironed and slashed and trapped, of hair natural, of job interviews turned down, of blogs written and unwritten like half of a yellow sun. Mouth open, flowers form from woman to woman to woman to woman. 2. Zadie, oh Zadie, you put Willesden on the map, babes. From a battered car in a butchered alley, gasoline steaming up windows, Archie was given a second life, unlike so many others. Feel free to fall through the northwest, picking and unpicking the beauty, changing your mind. Oh Zadie, you deliver gold leaf, word swinging, singing. 3. Tissue tore into clouds broken in the sky when they didn't understand you, Imtiaz. When sat around the table discussing tissue, he cut me off. I didn't pay for private school or look like them or sound like them. You uncovered the sky, pulled the dark blankets, let the moon drop to our feet. 4. The god of small things is lush leaves in bloom, forests full and overgrown, wild and untamed, uncut and untouched, submerged in a river full of earth and moss and secrets. It is a heavy lily pad in my stomach. A first love, Arundhati Roy, a fountain in love in Tokyo. Black and brown bodies intertwine like roots. 5. Across the pond, Jumper, your stories grew, quietly simmering, a thin lid of milk congealing, healing. Fathers solemn, mothers with saris doused in secrets, a lighted match at the ready, crossing burning continents. 6. 6 is for my sisters. A space to be heard for you, for you, for you. Tulips and twinkle lights climb up into your mouths. Each petal you drop falls to the silent, eager floor. We watch in awe as you draw this picture raw of us, of our brownness. 6 is a space for us to grow, to climb, to rhyme, to bloom like tulips in the sunrise.
Oh, no, lush.
That was so lovely. Is there background noise because my boiler's going? And I
No, we can't.
In advance. Like, shut up, boiler. I'm going to read White. White, the way the washing winks like a Greek island against a blue sky. White, the way my womb wanders. White, the light that floods her eyes for the first time. White for almost every day that comes after she turns white. White replaces color. White retracts into unbearable whiteness. White comes in waves. White witnesses the war. White opens its mouth and says nothing. White opens its mouth and says nothing. White, the room screaming. White, a holy healing. White, a circle of light. Imagine a circle of white light.
There's so much hope in that.
It's like a prayer.
So thanks for having us into you. These are our pamphlets with rough trade books, and we just wanted to say
I was supposed to read.
Oh shit!
Nancy was supposed to do the outro.
Cut that out.
Cut that out. Thanks, Sharon, for cutting me out.
That's like literally never happened. I haven't had breakfast, okay?
I'll read and then it's okay. Okay. Rosh is up front with me in the car and she says, I think our love for each other goes deep. I feel at home when I'm with you. As I'm driving down the North Circular, I say to her, I love this road. And she says, I love it too. She says we are the high priestesses of the A406. She wants to write it a poem as an offering. I love the bit of the A406 where you come up the crest of the hill, past the Jaguar warehouse, and as you come down, you have Brent Cross to your left. The road widens out. The cars pick up speed, and then it narrows again quickly after the slip road. It's that brief, wide bit I love. It tries to be a motorway, something more glitzier than an A road, and I love it for that, for the way it tries to be something else for a moment. The other point I love is when you go past Chinkford, past the Costco and the waste factory, and there's another lift in the road. After you clear it, you are offered the wide dreaming vistas of the M11. There about 4 or 5 lanes branch out. The possibility of where you can go, the distance it offers is real this time. This love we have for the A406 is as deep as veins. It is mundanity, routine. There's always a lot of smog, traffic and roadworks, but there is a soulfulness to the stained concrete, an earnest insistence to take us home. You can do the outro now, Sharon.
No, I'm not going to. You can.
Sunny, do the outro.
Oh, sure. Thank you, everybody. We are for Brown Girls Who Write. Our pamphlets are out at the moment. We've got good books. Please read them. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Everybody keep you can clap. Thank you very much for that fantastic set of performances, and how wonderful to see those connections between the different members of the collective. Yeah, really beautiful. So thank you very much for that. We're going to finish off our rap showcase this evening with 2 more short stories who were winners in our rap short story competition. So the first is a staff entry, and it's a story written by Shardell Farrell, who works in the employability team, and it's inspired by a very special bus journey. And the story is read by Jasbinder Bilan, the Costa Award-winning children's author of Asher and the Spirit Bird and Tamarind and the Star of Ishtar. And this is a sneak peek from a new venture for us, the Not TV Book Club. So you saw it here first, and it's Jasbinder Bilan reading Stand by Shardell Farrell.
Stand. She stepped onto the bus. The steps always seemed to be a little higher, a little steeper, a little more effort required as each year of her life passed. She nodded at the driver. His large hands gripped the large steering wheel as he briefly nodded and looked away. Her head turned to the bus, crowded. She tuttered and sucked in her breath, her chest tightening. It was always the same. How could a simple journey be so daunting, day in, day out? She saw an empty seat, inviting. She sat down and pushed her shopping bags beneath the chair. She put her handbag on her lap, instinctively wrapping her arms around it. The bus roared away, the hum of the engine drowning out the noise around her. The next stop. As the engine whirred to a soft purr, the door swung open. The noise that was so deafening stopped. The passengers rocked gently in rhythm with the vibrations of the bus and waited like an audience in the theatre, waiting for the curtain to rise. Anticipation. He stepped on. A long trench coat, unusual for this time of year, she thought. A statement piece rather than a necessity. He paid the driver with a collection of coins, then tipped his hat. He walked towards her, slowly, powerfully. She knew what was coming. Every journey, day in, day out, clutching her bag tighter, feeling that tightness in her chest now burning. Frustration, anger. Stand, commanded the man. No, replied Rosa.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Shardell, for entering with that fantastic story. And our final performer tonight is another of our student winners. Lucy Grace is the recipient of the John Harwood Bosworth Creative Writing Bursary, facilitated by the NTU MA in Creative Writing and Nottingham UNESCO City of Literature. And we are really thrilled that Lucy is able to join us on stage tonight to share her winning short story, Let the Waters Under the Sky Be Gathered to One Place.
Hi, thank you. Let the waters under the sky be gathered to one place. Through the smeared bus window, Charlotte watched rolling zoetrope hedges. Abandoned cars squatted like flightless insects on the roadside, doors open, tyres flat, interiors missing, along with pieces from under the bonnet, pipes, tubes. People took what they could now. She shifted in her seat. The bus swerved around a bundle in the road, and Ben's thigh pressed against hers. She moved away, but he slid further across the cracked vinyl into the gap she made. They had left the city with the sunrise. The ends of her hair stuck wetly to the glass. Move up. Charlotte spoke curtly. She didn't need to be kind. Ben wasn't even her real brother. She only had to tolerate him. She pushed back, reclaiming her seat and part of his. You're shoving me off, Ben complained, but not so anyone could hear. Her temple cooled on the pane. She watched telegraph wires riding up and down between tall poles, measuring distance. After what might have been another hour, she slept. The bus lurched over a ramp, front axle, back axle, Swimming up from a dream, Charlotte was minded of driving over a body. The thin man at the front spoke. We're here. We get one go. Don't fuck it up, okay? She ran her thickened tongue over furred teeth. Animals died first. They couldn't regulate their thirst. Did fish drink, she wondered. How could they not? Do you think this'll work out? Charlotte looked away through the dirty glass. It was Midsummer's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Fantastic. Great finale. Thank you very much. So, we have come to the end. And I need to do some thank yous. Yeah, it's not like Ant and Dec where everyone claps along at the end, but I mean, people can do that if they want to. But anyway, here we go. So I want to say thank you to Martina and Helen, Kyron, Laura and Lucy, and everyone in the culture team who supported RAP over the last glorious 10 months. To Barbara, whose original bright idea this is, thank you. To Steve Barton in the volunteer recruitment team for recruiting our fantastic ambassadors. I want to say thank you to the Writing and Talking Club members and to Heather Clark in the Sensei team for organising that and coordinating that with us. To everyone at Nottingham UNESCO City of Literature. To our featured writers, Derek Owusu, the human cannonball of energy that is Ashley Hickson-Lovence, and to 4 brown girls who write, and to everyone at Knots TV. Also, massive thank you to Brian and Jake and everybody in the Metronome team tonight. Thank you. So if you check out the RAP page on the NTU website, you can get access to our fantastic anthologies, The Story of Us and Easy Rider, and lots more information about what we're doing after our first glorious year, how we intend to have another equally, if not more, glorious year next year. So thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you've enjoyed meeting and finding out about some of the things that we've been doing. Thank you very much. Stay safe and see you soon. Take care. Bye.